Greetings, humanity. I'm Jim, and we're playing Torment Tides of Numenera. I suddenly remembered that I was going to do this today, and so I thought, let us do this today. I actually don't have a lot of time today, but we will try to do what we can. And see if we can figure out more things about what's going on. Ah, yes, we were left alone in this ship before we were going to do something terribly strange, and I cannot remember what I can't remember what terribly strange thing we were going to do.
Whatever.
I mean, it's a general life attitude, really. Let's see. I think it was involving the people we access by interacting with that. There were things we were going to try doing. I'm just looking at things that I probably looked at last time. One of the engines that once drove this vehicle. Okay. Alright.
On it.
I know we were interacting with this thing, and these people were wandering up. Oh, that's right. The ghosts materialized from the air again, clustering about you in silent need. I'm just going to refresh my own memory here real quick. Anyway, projections of the voice changes continuing. My machine mind. They exist now as a memorial to the fallen passengers, a testament to my own failure to save them. Your power will not last forever here. Transferring your knowledge to my mind will ensure the survival of your memories. Because, of course, that's just what we need. More things crowding the labyrinth of our brain. Let's do it. Okay. So we have a base of 60%. And we can, with effort, get up to 100. So I feel like this is the thing they want us to succeed at. But let me just check something. You have a base of 40% and can get up to 80. Okay. And I'm not going to bother to check the others because I know they won't be great. Here we go. Come! Welcome! Welcome into the brain! Serdig's ghost reflects. You may be correct. The loss of physical place may be rectified through a longer, more personal memory space. I carry a neural network. Let us establish a direct connection. I have the necessary tool. A hidden panel slides open. Within lies a vaguely head-shaped mass of metal wire, all spines and jagged edges. Place this atop your head, he murmurs. Place this atop your head, he murmurs. A few more moments and we can begin the data transfer. Oh, that's always safe to do. And through anamnesis, we haven't seen that word for a while, we must place the jagged crown atop our head and attempt to absorb the Catina's intelligence into your labyrinth. This sounds perfectly safe. It's a great idea. An absolutely great idea. You know what also would be a great idea? Actually turning on the bot. Forgot to turn on the bot. I have done it now. Okay. Let's see. In case anyone wants to examine the other labyrinth that I have set up. I need to add more rooms to that. I keep telling myself that. Alright, here we go. So we're starting at 40%. This idea is a 12 out of 10. Yes, absolutely. And we can get up to 80%. 80%'s not bad. Let's see how we do it. No, that doesn't sound good at all. Failure! You lower the cage onto your head and the jagged points slash into your skin. The net devours your blood. In the periphery of your vision, you see two thin wires. You barely manage to get your hands up in time before they puncture your eyes. You shake the net loose from your head. The Catina's tone is chiding. You have refused the connection. I assure you, no harm will come to you if you follow the proper procedures. Restored 1 intellect pool. And then, at the retry cost of 1 intellect, we can Try that again. This sounds so safe. Doesn't this sound safe? This sounds like the safest thing ever. Sure. Oh, now we're down to 35% and we gotta spend more. But we can get up to 95% this time, which is better. There we go. We're gonna have to sleep again at this rate. You place the net atop your head, and the metal cuts into your scalp. You feel a coolness as blood trickles upward into the device. Thin wires enter your peripheral vision and slip behind your eyes. They slice into your optic nerves, and the agony paints blossoms across your vision. The ragged shapes of pain resolve into the world around you. The world as the Katina sees it. Connection established, the Katina announces. One moment. I just remembered, once again. I can't imagine how I remembered this. But it occurs to me it might help to turn on the content warnings one more time. There we go. For those of you just joining us, this game may include body horror. Just so you're aware. Is someone trying to send... Hang on, must check this thing just in case someone's trying to send a message. Alright, that's done. Okay. Ah, lungs. Okay. The connection has been established. Here we go.
I'm ready to learn something new.
XP! XP. Telemetry, destination, access to old records, ambient temperatures. It's almost too much to process, but you manage to tamp down the overwhelming flow and relegate it to the background. One by one, the ghosts around you begin to wink out of existence. You can feel them awakening inside you. This is a great idea. Now let's remove the power source from the containment device. Because that's why we're here. With the Katina's intelligence gone, your work proceeds quietly and quickly. You slide the containment device open. Inside the glowing blue tube, you see a rack of 10 cylinders. 9 of them are cold and inert, but one of them hums and blurs, a barely perceptible vibration as it fades into and out of this reality. You gently remove the clamps that hold the powered cylinder in place. Excellent. A trans-dimensional power source. This cylinder was one of 10 that once fueled the crashed Katina in the Bloom. It appears to tap into the power of collapsing singularities. Oh, that sounds very safe. It is a rare source of energy, and only a few special devices would benefit from its unique properties. Very good, the Ninth World, where safety comes first. Should you get more experience as you bring more consciousnesses into yourself? You would think. You would think. I wonder if I should have told them that there are fragments of the sorrow wandering around in there. I don't know. Oh yes, and a half-mad would-be deity. I wonder if they should. Wonder if we should tell them. Nah, they'll find out. Okay. No, just hang out in there with the sorrow and the changing god. Everything's fine. The lights wink out. A deep, almost ultrasonic moan ripples down the Katina's walls as the power within the tubes and wires flickers away. An alien voice babbles something over a small speaker near the control panel. You are left standing in darkness. Everything around you is quiet and still. Well, so much for that. Bereft of its power source, the containment device no longer Bereft of its power source, the containment device no longer glows. The control panel is dark and unresponsive.
Whatever.
Just like my future. Oh, all right. Anyway. Was there something? There's something happening near the door, wasn't there? Was it this door or the front door? Does anyone know? Anyone?
Here comes the boredom slayer.
Oh God. I worry anytime I hear something like that. Alright.
Consider it done.
No. Okay. Well. Pixel hunt is at an end. Oh, wait. I can level up now. I should do that. Oh, that's very good. Yeah. I feel as though this is not the text that is supposed to appear here. There we go. Whatever shall we do? We can increase our stat pools. We can increase our edge, once again. We can increase our effort. We can increase ability or skill. It'd be nice if it were easier to do things. Let's up our edge. I think. Yes. Intellect edge, of course. You can use one level of effort at no stat pool cost. Edge also reduce the activation cost of abilities, eventually making some free to activate. Yes. That's done.
All right.
We shall head out this way. If an enemy is armored, change up the damage type of your attacks with abilities or ciphers to overcome it. Okay.
Ready.
I'm gonna have to remember what's going on. What we were planning to do. Why are we here? Why are we here? So, there are several things. I'm just going to do a quick review to see if I can remember what's happening. One of those patrols, that's getting another patrol back. Servant of the Tides. We met the person. We just have to figure out how to get at the knowledge. All we have to do to get at the knowledge is feed someone to them. Let me do that. Find out what a newborn mall wants to eat. She might be able to sense what the mall wants. Sure.
Of course.
Let's go annoy Delny. And that said, I mean, there are plenty more places we need to explore. And which we can't look at those maps while we're on this map. But we'll see. Was there a thing? Nope, nope, you can't actually go in that direction. Okay. Delny, why are you back in shadow form? Should we be concerned? With the glamour removed from her, you can see Delny for who she truly is, a young mutant woman, slender, her light blue skin accentuated by her bright pink hair. Her features are still sharp, but she still has the softness of youth about her. I should point out that I forget in between each time I do this, like what voices I have been doing. So I'm no longer worried about maintaining consistency. But anyway, her voice is light but sincere. Thank you for freeing me of Frung's influence. His mind was... She shivers. This is like waking up from a nightmare. She blinks, clearing her eyes. What can I do for you? There's a new mall in Little Neliash. Could you use your metal powers to find out what it wants? Should be perfectly safe. I could, I suppose, but I need to get near the maw to build the proper rapport with it, and I don't think that's a very good idea. Well, let's talk about something else. I freed you from Frung. This is all I ask in return. Oh, God. Is there... See, here's the thing. being here in this, if I keep everything contained, right, to just this area, I feel as though there is a lot that can be done. There are a couple of things I could do with people, but I am wondering if I continue to explore around and talk to people, if I will find less mercenary ways of doing these things. Go for the eyes! Yeah. No, not yet, not yet. So I'm just going to say let's talk about something else. There are a couple of things that will require bastardly actions. Oh dear. Oh, and now we're not going to ask at all. That's not good. Dagnabbit. Okay, so... See, I should have... I didn't realize it would no longer be allowed that option. So now I got to figure out how I want to tackle this, and I fear the only way to tackle this is going to be to do that, because I did not do the thing correctly. Well, let me. Well, we'll speed through. Won't take long, because I see that it autosaved today, so let me see where it autosaved, and we'll figure that out. Were we here? Had I already leveled up? Will I remember how to look at my character sheet? Yes, I had already leveled up. Okay, we've already got the stuff. What we need... I have... Whoa, okay. If I pick up one more cipher, then there is a chance of possibly exploding, so that's not good. Okay, maybe not exploding. So to whom do we wish to hand something off? Let us hand something off to Matkina. I mean, we're going to lose all of these people eventually. But, I mean, I guess if we're using this outer row, then we have that one. We have one space left, right? We want to be a little careful. So... Plus 45% on non-combat tasks. Things explode every day, don't they? Yes. Actually, the non-combat tasks thing I should actually give to Rin. We could do that. Now she's full up almost. We're just going to be playing do-si-do with a bunch of these things. Yeah, we gave her all the healing stuff. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Perfectly fine. Everything's perfectly fine. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Out! Out you go. You can use certain items and abilities even during conversations or when interacting with objects. Please keep this in mind. We need a little extra boost to succeed in a task. Okay. Okay, we didn't miss much. So instead of actually going down and talking to Delny, because then perhaps we will lose things, there is the possibility, but the one thing that is left before I leave this place for a little while, that is it's something of an eye, is to go back and talk to the inhabitant of this spherical tank. And now that we know more about what the deal is with Herja, and see if there are additional dialogue options there. But I will save the game first. I'll not be caught out like that again. I shall fall back on my Sierra Lucasfilm training. The options, we have options. The options are all about being evil, basically, as it were. Options are all about being a bastard. It's like, shall we feed this nice person to a maw that we rescued, or shall we feed this confused person to this person so we can get answers? It's really a question of who are you willing to sacrifice to get the answers you want, and unfortunately, this this fellow has rather a history, or rather this body's previous inhabitant has rather a history of basically screwing people over. Speak! This Prince of the Fat would hear your questions. Why are you imprisoning her, Jeff? She has committed a grievous crime, and she will remain in the prison of her mind until she confesses. Her voice is colder than before. Herja knows the nature of her crime. Perhaps she will admit the truth to you. The deaths of my people are on her head. Her hands stink with their agony. She claims to be innocent. Does she not deserve the presumption of innocence? You are certain she is guilty. Sure. Does she not deserve the presumption of innocence? She may, but I have met her kind before. She will tell you of her innocence, and she will convince you of her rightness, yet she is sick, rotten at her core, and she requires correction. She may even consider herself innocent. She may even consider herself innocent if she has lost all connection to humanity. You are certain she is guilty? I have examined the evidence, I have heard her words, I have declared her sentence. I am a Prince of the Fat, and I rule here. Yes, she is guilty. She claims to be innocent. I have passed my judgment. I did not do so rashly or without consideration for the facts. Speak to her. You will find certainty if you persist. Of course she does. All the knights have convinced themselves of their innocence. And actually, from talking to her, it kind of sounded like that. There was one other question I saw in here, why I'm not sure if I've asked before. Why do you want to open the new maw? We are exiles here far from our home in Niliash. It is. Sparks fly from the grill. Pardon. We hope that the maw will open again in our fair city, but if it doesn't, it seems likely we stand to profit from a potential new trade route. Either way, we benefit. Yeah. Okay. Farewell, Garkoto. May you achieve your goals this day. Alright.
I think that's best.
It's good to know these things. It's good to know these things. Alright, we will save one more time as that didn't affect much. But it gives us both sides of the issue. And then we will come back before we've done the running around and talking to people part, and now we and then we will shortly engage the running around being mean to people part, quite possibly. Or hopefully not being mean to people, but unfortunately, sometimes the Ninth World can be a bit harsh, and the red tide represents passion, emotion, action, and zeal. It is the tide of people whose goal it is to live with them for the moment, to experience life to its fullest, or to not finish reading whatever it is that was on the screen because it went away.
If you want a job done right.
Are you actually going to finish that sentence, or are you just going to leave us hanging? Okay. This area, the vast interior. We've been in there. We've been down there. We've been down there. We now can explore this darkness and see what lies in this direction. Walks without fear. We already, we already drained his conversation tree away.
And it's done.
I worry a lot about that. What is this? An enormous statue of a woman wielding a hammer stands here, its lower half lost to shadow in the depths of the bloom. hell? To the Shrine of Chila. Come back to that. Just gonna walk back and forth there for all eternity, huh? Ah, delightful. There's a thing. Sunderman the Younger, Sunderman the Elder. Something leading to the Kyurgen slump. Sunderman and Sunderman. The old slave block.
Yes.
Yes. Should we just map this out before we talk to anybody? Do people do that?
Let's go all. You and me.
There's a Vargellan merchant, a human merchant, and Gristler. The path suddenly ends here, interrupted by an enormous fanged mouth. Yeah, as it does, from time to time. The bloom. That's delightful. I would not want to be a dentist in this place. And this, I presume, is another merchant or something, because there's an Inine, but, caravan guard. Well, there's a caravan. And this brings us back to where we were. Okay.
Happy to help.
And these are the merchant. Okay, right. Yes. Also, you could be a merchant because you just hovered over them and it said merchant. Perhaps that's what you were thinking about. Okay. All right. So, communication, eh? So the order of this: explore, talk to people, poke things. I believe that's the order.
Why not?
Just want to get all of that gum work, that beautiful gum work in. Make sure we've got a clear view of it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Human merchant. The two merchants turn toward you. One is a heavy-set I can't speak. One is a heavy-set human with a large head and a wide, bony face. The other is particularly thin and sickly-looking Vargellan. Its head crest is decorated with symbols that are unknown to you. Both are dressed in rich clothing. The human merchant. I hope you're not planning to visit the Ascension, friend, says the human, whose face is set in a permanent frown. The only road was in there. He gestures toward the massive jaw that is closed over the far end of the platform. What happened here? As the Vargellan merchant speaks, as we approach, the entrance grows teeth, says the emaciated Vargellan. It speaks with a strange, halting accent, as if the truth is not its native tongue. For the truth is the language in the Ninth World, the common tongue. The teeth get big and turn into a great jaw. Down it comes, swift and cruel. All this happens fast. In time it takes it to walk 5 steps. The human grimaces. The bloom's good for 3 things, friend. Farting up smoke to burn our eyes, pissing foul water for us to drink, and eating whoever and whatever it likes. I hate this place. Too bad it's a good road to make some shins, or was anyway. You were headed for the trade post? Where else? The Ascension has its own perils, but it's blessed with a bounty of useful things. Unlike this place. Try getting anyone to pay for a hunk of quivering bloom flesh. The merchant scowls and spits. We trade in crystals from Ascension Place. Good business there, bad business here. The Vargellan attempts to scowl and spit in the same manner as its friend, but only manages to spray the front of its garment with a bluish fluid from its nose slits. What are you going to do now? The Gristleman asks us to go with him. Into the depths of the bloom, seek out other mouths, jaws, maws that lead to trade post. We are not stupid, we say no. The Vargellan twists its face into a deep frown in a remarkable imitation of its companion. Clearly it has been practicing. Better to search for another way than stay here and do nothing. Send your guide by himself. He knows the bloom better than you do. If I find a way, I'll come and tell you. I guess you'll just be staying here then. Yeah, let's not try to resolve their problems for them. Dang it, I shouldn't have raised the gold tide. Why does it... Yeah! He's being too nice. I need to find ways to raise the blue and indigo tides. Why do I do this to myself? It's not that I need it mechanically. I just... aesthetically, I prefer it. The merchant raises a bushy eyebrow. That's charitable of you, which makes me assume you have some nefarious motive. But pay it no mind. I have a pessimistic nature. It's probably just talk. He won't find anything. If he does, he won't be back for us. And the gold tide raised a small amount. I'm trying to get to the Ascension. What can you tell me about it? The Vargellan merchant says, a world made of crystal like this. The Vargellan plucks a finger-sized gemstone from its pocket. It seems to quiver of its own accord as if it's alive. All things in Ascension made of crystal. Living creatures, too. It is a cold and dark place. The sun is too small in the sky. We don't venture far from the gate, adds the human. Nobody does if they're smart. Do you have anything to trade? Not yet. We offer salts and dyes and alchemical powders to our contact in the Ascension. Whatever it is, absorbs what it likes and gives us crystalline artifacts in return. If we ever manage to get there, then I might have something to trade. You could try that flesh merchant on the next platform. He turns to his companion. What's his name again? Sundaman. His name is Sundaman. The Vargellan bobs its head each time it speaks the name. 2 men he is, but also 1. Yes. You sure? Sure? Nothing to trade? The human shakes his ponderous head. If we ever reach the Ascension, we'll have something of value to sell. Crystalline Numenera of all shapes and sizes. Never the same things twice. Farewell. Farewell in this place? I doubt it. Okay, Gristler. Ah. As you approach, you see 2 well-dressed merchants in heated conversation with one. I think we were supposed to talk to him first. Conversation with a wiry man who was wearing an assortment of odd-looking leathers and hides. We were probably supposed to just come straight up from the south. But upon seeing you, the wiry fellow shoos the merchants away and turns in your direction. Instead of feet, you notice that he has 2 hand-like appendages, fashioned from metal and synth. Indeed, both of his legs have been replaced by these artificial arms that appear remarkably flexible. Looking for the trade post. The wiry man flashes a lopsided grin and jabs a thumb at the giant toothy jaw behind him. Used to be in there, until the bloom got hungry and ate it. At least I think that's what happened. Never can tell with the big old sack of guts we call home. With this big old sack of guts we call home. Right, so how am I supposed to get the Ascension? Get to the Ascension? So the trade post was destroyed? And I think that's actually in the thing. Does this sort of thing happen a lot around here? Can't say that it does. Oh, the bloom eats people often enough, but a whole trade post? Nah, I know the bloom, and she wouldn't go that far unless she had a reason. I'm afraid I know who that reason is too. She can't be happy about this. If I was you, I'd try to find a maw that would take me there. Ought to be one around here somewhere. The bloom never closes off a path for long, but finding it again, that's a whole different story. Okay, so there probably will be a way to find that anchorage again. Name's Gristler, by the way. Bloom guide, explorer, and scout. 3 times eaten by the bloom and still intact. Well, mostly. He wriggles the artificial fingers on one of his feet. Where would I go to look for a maw? Gristler purses his lips. Used to be I could answer that question easy enough. I tell you just where to find them and where they lead and what to feed them. But something's got the bloom all riled up and she's opening and closing maws however she likes. He shakes his head disapprovingly as if talking about his own disobedient child. Change is coming. I can smell it, figuratively anyway. So if I were you, I'd try the darkest corners of this gut bag I could find. Dank and nasty places, that's where the Maws like to rip themselves into being. The slums are a good place to start. Little Neeliesh, Kyurgin slump. 4 little holes like that. Foul little holes like that. Foul. That's an L, not an R. Okay. Foul little holes like that. Can you tell me a little bit more about the slum? Can you tell me a little bit more about these so-called slums? Yes. Gristler lets out a long puff of air, and you're fairly certain that his breath is the same color as the fetid smoke emitted by the bloom itself. Certainly it smells near as bad. Well now, he says, rocking back on the heels of his hand-feet. From where we are right here, you can find your way to 3 of them. Little Neeliesh, where all them funny-looking mutants live. Kyurgin slump, where folk go to get their bodies hacked or healed. And the old slave block, he makes a sour face. Folks don't go there at all unless they're Murdens, but Murdens don't really count as folk. Ah, that's good to know. Glad you've got a nice open mind about people. Tell me about Little Neeliesh, that place I just went to and explored. Gristler nods. First of all, it ain't so little. I guess it's bigger than the other slums by half. Used to be called something else before the mutants moved in, but nobody remembers the old name. But there was a lot there. See, the mutants got here through a maw. They used to come and go as they pleased, trading goods from here and there, making all manners of shins. Somebody should have warned them that maws are ordinary beasts, and they never do the same thing for too long. Sure enough, one day it up and closed, and all the mutants on this side got trapped in the bloom, been stuck here ever since. Funny thing about Little Neeliesh, folk on the outside of the bloom like to pitch their rubbish in here. Straight into the nearest tube or sphincter. But no matter where they dump their trash, it all finds its way to Little Neeliesh. Don't know how or why. Guess that's just where the bloom likes to keep it. He smiles fondly, and again you get the sense that he is talking about a much-beloved child. Since Little Neeliesh is in the digestion system, perhaps. What do you know about the Kyurgin slump? Gristler brightens. That's where I got fitted with these. He taps the metal and synth arms that double as his legs. Ah! That may be where we need to go and talk to a doctor or someone who can help with Eritus. A couple of nice fellas helped me out when the bloom ate my legs. They were a little odd, I admit, and lacking in the social graces, kept calling me by a number rather than my name. The bloom bless these doctors, even if they enjoyed their work a little too much. Yes. Nowadays, the slump is under the protection of a bunch of soldier types. Deserters, I hear. From some battle that never ends. Ah, yes, the endless battle, I believe it's called. Gristler shakes his head. Imagine that! Fighting in an endless battle. Should have thought it through before they signed up, that's what I say. Yeah, you'd think. I want to hear about the old slave block. It used to be a prison for slaves back in the days of Chila the Great. They carved it out of the bloom flesh with saws that spat solid light and blades that weren't all there. Maybe that's why the bloom stopped liking Chila the Great. Never mind. Folks say that's where Chila was chained up, and that's where her legend was born. It's actually, it wasn't Chila, but it was, yeah. The bloom may... I wonder if the bloom disapproves of being carved up like that. That's kind of the question. Although, I mean, people subsist on bloom flesh as well, so... Wouldn't know it anymore. It's all feathers and filth in there now, ever since the Murdens moved in. They're a pack of dirty thieves if you get too close to one of them. Your thoughts get all staticky. Makes it hard to do just about anything. I hear it's because they talk to each other with their minds, but I guess they can't do it quiet and polite. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I have other questions. I need to know more about the Maws and how they work. And why they're so horrible. Gristler squints at you for a moment, as if trying to decide if he trusts you or not. Then he nods. A Maw is a door, see? A living door. It's a collection between... It's a collection. Why do I keep substituting letters? This is not good. It's a connection between somewhere in the bloom and another place. that other place might be right around the corner, or it might be in a whole different world. Maybe it's an whole different time. It don't matter none to the Bloom. I guess maybe there's hope getting Rin home. Need to know what's he doing here? Does the Mamavra know about him? It's a good question. Only one rule with Maws. You feed them what they want. And they open. Trouble is, every Maw wants something different. Might be an emotion or a color or the blood of one particular fella. Or if you're unlucky that day, might be your own 2 legs. Maws are stubborn, every one of them, until you give them what they want. They'll stay shut. He lowers his voice. Read, Jim! He lowers his voice. Unless you got a way to cut him open. To cut him open takes a special kind of weapon to do that, but the Bloom don't like it one bit. She'll remember a fellow who cuts open her maws, and things won't go easy for that fellow around here. You said the Bloom is acting strangely. Do you know why? She's hungry for something, or someone. I can hear it in their voices, just like when a Maw wants to eat somebody. Only this time it's the whole Bloom. This sort of thing used to scare me, it did. Probably still should. I wonder if the Mamavra knows who the Bloom wants to eat. I'll bet she does. Maybe the Bloom wants to eat the Mamavra. Why is that wagon just standing here? Well, you better ask these 2 fellas here. He nods at the well-dressed merchants. See, they were supposed to be heading to the Ascension by way of the old trade post, but then the Bloom decided to eat the trade post, so now they're stuck. I keep telling them to look on the bright side. At least they weren't inside the trade post when it got eaten. But they won't hear it. Never seen a couple of fellas so determined to be miserable. Gristler squints suspiciously at the 2 merchants. Anyway, until they decide what to do next, we're staying put. And since they're paying my wage, I'll do what they tell me. He grins. At least until something better comes along, or someone else demands my time. I have some questions about you. Alright, what questions would those be? You called yourself a Bloom guide. That's right. Gristler flashes his crooked grin. Ain't nobody around here who knows the Bloom as well as old Gristler. I hire myself out to fellas like these. He nods toward the 2 merchants who are standing nearby. And get them where they need to go. Of course I'm happy to give advice for free. Can't say I ever get tired of talking about the Bloom. Or about anything, really. Oh yes, my throat understands that very well. Long demons. Did you say you were eaten by the Bloom 3 times? Yep, Gristler beams, obviously proud of his achievement. First time the Bloom ate me, she took my senses of smell and taste. That's fine, I told myself. Now I can eat all them foul-tasting vegetables that folks always said were so good for me. Second time, the Bloom took my ability to feel fear. What'd I ever need that for? Just kept me from doing things that'd make for good stories later. Third time, the Bloom took my legs. She was kind enough to cauterize the stumps, though, so I wouldn't bleed to death. Then I met a couple of fellows over in the slump, and they fitted me up with these. Gristler slaps the synth arms that are now serving as his legs. He leans forward and lowers his voice. Truth is, I'm faster and nimbler now than I ever was, but I don't like to tell too many people, or they'd all be clamoring to swap their legs for a pair of arms. Great. Can you tell me about the times the Bloom ate you again? No, thank you. Why do you refer to the Bloom as she? Do I? Gristler's face reddens. Must be because I'm always hearing her voice. Like a whispery, chittery sound. Tells me when she's hungry or full, happy or cross. It helps to know that sort of thing when I'm guiding folks through her guts. Yeah. You seem rather nonchalant about this place. Well, I've been here a long while, and the Bloom ate my sense of fear, so there's that too. I like to think she's looking out for me. Sure, she takes a little part of me now and then, but life does that to all of us, don't it? Well, maybe not so literally, but you know what I mean. Let's look at his clothes. His garments are rough, but reasonably well made. Though the material is strange to you, it seems to be a type of leather, but it's thicker and heavier than any leather you've seen. And the colors are scabrous and ugly. Gristler catches you looking and he nods. Tanned bloom flesh. Tough but strong. Old Sunderman made these. He waves a hand toward one of the walkways that leads into the vast interior. Okay. I have other questions. I don't think I have any other questions. Nope. Farewell. Ever need advice about the bloom, come and find me again. Caravan guard. Lads and I just guard the caravan. Our employers are those two merchants over there. Yeah. Seriously, can you hear it? The bloom is hungry. That noise sounds like my stomach grumbling. Guess we're not going anywhere for a while. Yeah, they're going to say the same thing over and over again. Okay. So we must decide. We'll talk to Sunderman and Sunderman first. I think those are the only people we haven't talked to. On this screen. In this area. Don't break immersion, Jim!
Above! Sideways!
Yes.
You want it done right.
Do I?
Alright.
Is it alright? Each of these vats is filled with colored dye, extruded by tiny wriggling creatures that congregate near the bottom. God damn it! Okay, we're having comprehension problems today. Each of these vats is filled with colored dye, extruded by tiny wriggling creatures that congregate near the bottom. There. This is familiar. There is a short story, I think Shauna Germain wrote it, about someone who does something with colored dye. It takes place in the Ninth World. And yes, it's the bloom. It's the bloom causing the reading comprehension problems. And I'm wondering if this is a reference to that. Possibly. We'll see. This rack holds countless tools of the leatherworkers' trade. Tools lie scattered on the workbench, along with fragments of leathery bloom flesh. Sunderman and Sunderman, bloom flesh and sundries. Sunderman the younger, Sunderman the elder. Guess we will chat with a couple of Sundermen. The Sundermen! I mean, I'm not expecting anything major from merchants, but one never knows. One never knows. Sunderman the Younger. This friendly-looking youth is dipping strips of cured bloom flesh into colored dye. He looks up as you approach, revealing startling yellow eyes. Hello, sir. Are you interested in our wares? They're handcrafted and one of a kind. What sort of work are you doing? I'm Sunderman's apprentice. That means I do whatever he tells me, really. Mostly harvesting usable bloom flesh. It's always an adventure, flesh harvesting, though my elder tells me it's going away on a bigger adventure soon. He grins cheerfully. I'll be going away on a bigger adventure soon. My elder tells me I'll be going away on a bigger adventure soon. He grins cheerfully. Can't wait. I'm trying to read too fast. That's really the problem. I'm not doing what I learned in broadcasting school, which is reading ahead. Also, feeling actually a little bit... there appears to be something going on today, with the brain, there is a respiratory thing going on with the change in the weather today, I think. So that's a thing. So I'm feeling a little bit more more troubled today than usual, so I'm probably not going to be going for too much longer on this one today, but we'll see. We're going to finish the screen at least. I'm actually going to leave these off for a minute. I shall have to do without hearing voices. What do you sell here? You'll probably be interested in specialty items and armor we craft from Bloomflesh, but we also sell everyday stuff like clothes and building supplies. Everybody buys from us, even those, he shivered, those Murdens. Talk to my elder if you want to buy anything. Yeah, I'm getting this, it's kind of, it's not exactly a headache, but it's sort of this little pounding. I think it's the, that reminder that when your blood vessels go, hey, remember us? Yeah, I've had that before, many times. Seems you know the Bloom pretty well. Are there any maws nearby? I know of one for sure in Kyurgen's slump. Been there a really long time. I hear there's one in the old slave block too, but I don't go in there because of the Murdens, so I can't be sure. Isn't it dangerous to harvest Bloom flesh? Not really. People only fear the Bloom when they don't understand it. He puffs up his chest. I've lived here all my life and nothing's ever happened to me. Oh, but you will, youngster, chuckles the old merchant who stands beside the apprentice. Oh, but it will. See, there it is. It's happening again. Oh, but it will, youngster, chuckles the old merchant who stands beside the apprentice. It will. The younger man laughs uncomfortably. You keep saying that, but you won't say when. If I did, says the older man, you might try to avoid it. If I know I would, if only to see what happens. I am interested in your wares. Great, you should talk to my elder. He handles the actual trading. Farewell. Okay. Yeah, I may have to call it shortly. We'll see. Sunderman the Elder. Near a display of goods that all appear to be made of bloom flesh, either tanned, beaten, carved, or cured, stands an old man who looks fairly tanned, beaten, carved, and cured himself. He also has startling yellow eyes, just like his apprentice. Hello, he exclaims, admiring my stock. You won't find anything else like it, not even here in the Bloom. All handcrafted and one of a kind. I have some questions for you. Who wouldn't when confronted with such unusual merchandise? Ask away. I couldn't help but notice you and your apprentice look a lot alike. Look very much alike. Well spotted, he grins widely, a twinkle in his eye. And why would you speculate that is, sir? I love telling this story, he'll never guess. It's probably your son, I think he's your cousin. Even time is not simple in this world, I think he is you. Sorry, but I don't have time for guessing games. Yeah, let's do this one, because apparently it's a story. Blue Tide. Ah, well done. He claps you on the back. Not many people manage to figure that one out. Let me tell you what happened, or will happen if you like. Actually, that Eon priest in the slump saw it too. Is it somehow more obvious than it used to be? Blue Tide. One day soon, my younger self will be walking along when the Bloom will open a maw beneath him and he'll tumble into another world, years in the past. Or maybe the journey to the past will be when he tries to come back. Whatever the case, it'll take him many decades and worlds to travel back here. He smiles wistfully. I envy him the experience he will have, but thank him for the memories. Great! It sounds like a dangerous journey. Shouldn't you warn yourself? I did, but I didn't listen. He smiles affectionately at his younger self. Besides, when I think about all the stories I've filled my head with, it's hard to remember exactly what I said about when the big day is. He leans in close and whispers, but it's coming soon. Ah, great. Doesn't knowing what will happen change the future? He frowns, puzzled. Why? I knew what was coming, but it hasn't changed my past. That's a fair point. I have more questions for you. Go right ahead. What exactly do you sell here? Bloom flesh, my friend, bloom flesh. We craft everything out of it. Clothing, armor, building materials, jerky, you name it. The Bloom cultists in particular love wrapping themselves in the Bloom flesh, but everybody buys from us, even the Murdens. You might say our business is blooming! He raises his eyebrow at you expectantly. No, we don't reward that. There was a pause. You just destroyed the whole thing by making that pause in front of it and trying to turn it into... Okay, here's the problem with puns. I wasn't expecting to do my pun rant today, but here we go. Are you ready? I'm going to lose followers over this. So here's the problem. The thing is that people undermine the point of puns when they make them obvious. It's not actually... I think that somehow over time, over the last... somewhere like... I want to say it's the last 30 to 40 years, but it's hard to really pin it down. But the thing is that for some reason people have gotten the idea into their heads that the worse puns are, the better. It's because they enjoy watching those uncomfortable reactions from other people, which I really think is something they need to examine. But the thing is that... And a lot of people think that I don't like puns. And the thing is, I actually do, but I do when they're good. And what I consider to be a good pun, because of course I don't consider my thoughts to be law necessarily, but and of course society changes and I'm old. But the thing that I think the ones that work best for me are the ones where you're not actually directly referring to the thing. You're finding a synonym, and you're just slipping it into the conversation so that it's not obvious. And then if people are going to be, and then the only thing that people can take offense of at that point is just the fact that it is a pun, and not so much it being a bad pun, which is, the thing. And I mean, even getting them on that level is kind of, it does have a certain satisfaction when they think about it and they're like, oh, God damn it. But it's when it actually integrates with the purpose. It actually is meant, it must serve a dual purpose. It actually has to integrate with the thing you're talking about and help to create a new thing. It's like, oh, wait, we can link these two things together now. And all too often, modern puns are just basically people hunting for a word to sound annoying, and that troubles me. But anyway, lecture over. Hi, thank you, Unstable Deus. I'm glad someone agrees. I'm trying to think of an example, but of course I can't because I have ADHD and my brain doesn't provide itemized lists of things to me. I have to work hard to get items out of the sheer, tempest that goes on in here the whole time. But if I happen to think of one before I stop streaming today, I'll talk about it. Anyway, his eyebrows. He raises his eyebrows at you expectantly. Ha! His apprentice laughs. Good one, Sunderman. Oh, no. You're such a bad influence on yourself. Thanks, Sunderman, says the older merchant. I liked it myself when I first heard it. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so like, once, and okay, I don't claim this is good. This was actually so like, for example, in my 20s. So this isn't actually that good, but it's closer to what we're talking about. Like, something I would occasionally do is people would be having a conversation about irony. See, I see what you've just said in the chat, and yes, that's a prime example of what we're trying to avoid. And so, like, there was a conversation I was having sometime. I was in college, and someone was talking about irony, and I said, and I think I said something along the line of, yeah, and it takes too long, and you have to fill the iron with a fine mist, and it just doesn't work out terribly well. And so, I mean, it's a thing where it's like, that was a pun, but I didn't actually say the word, and so it was a thing where you could actually connect it to another thing. But anyway, I digress. That wasn't actually a good one either, but but you know, you live, you learn. What are we talking about now? I'm going to come back up to this one in a moment, but let me go down to this one. What do you know about the Bloom cultists? Got some odd notions, those folk. They worship the Bloom as a deity and aren't afraid of being eaten. He shrugs. Crazy, of course, but they're my best customers, so I just smile and nod when they natter on about it. Yes. What did I just ask about the cultists? Okay. What do you think of the Murdens? Sunderman grimaces. Those hunchbacked beak faces will steal anything. Anything they can get their claws on. We sell clothes to them, and because of that, they mostly let us be, but I trust them as far as I can throw them, and I'd advise you to do likewise. Sounds like you're prejudging them. And before I ask, let me see what you have for sale. I will say, tell me some of those memories or experiences you had and will have. He looks over at his younger self, who is assiduously not listening. He laughs a little and speaks softly. My first journey was to a desert world, where natives looked like humanoid spiders. It's the best way I know how to describe them. They spoke with their minds and a combination of colors that danced between their fingers. It was difficult to get them to understand me, but we managed to find a way. I'm lucky they didn't eat me. When I'd gained their trust, I worked with them as a guide and hunter. I'd flesh their prey, and they'd snare it with great chemical lattices. But one was always looking at me like he wanted to get a taste of me, and one day he made a move. I ran and found the Bloom's maw still open. But time bent, and I came back in the past. He looks at his young self. One you want to watch for. Oh, boy. Hang on, okay, let me parse this word. Izzgilwlridil. Isgilwriddle. 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 One you want to watch for is Isgilwriddle. Isgilwriddle. Okay. Sure. Let's go to Isgilwriddle. Let's see. Let's see what you have for sale. Things! Okay. Bloom Flesh Armor. 7 armor, 5 resistance. But -3 to might and speed, and -15 on esoteria attacks. At the start of each turn, a tentacle latches onto a nearby enemy. That sounds useful. Does 6 transdimensional damage to the target, heals 6 points of health on the wearer. Wow. Bloom Bone Shard. 3 physical, 4 chemical, +3 damage per effort. Maximum +15. Light weapon bonus +15% on weapon attacks. Critical hits confer controlled force to fight on the caster's side. Active 1 round. Blood Globe. Deals 24 it's a cipher. 24 mental damage and confers demoralize to all characters in a range of the target point. That sounds cool. 2 refined Fleetfoot Moss. Might need those at some point soon. Depending on if there's combat. My understanding is there are ways to get through this and just avoid combat almost altogether, so we'll see. I keep trying to do that, but we'll find out. Metabolism Flesh Bud. +1 speed edge, +1 damage per effort applied, max +6 on esoteric attacks. But -2 speed pool. Interesting. Okay. we will consider those.
At last.
Yes. So those dies actually have nothing to do with that short story I was thinking of. Those different colored dies, that's just, you know, they're selling flesh armor that they want to dye different colors. That's it. It is time to poke things. Well, a thing. I think this was the only thing available.
All right.
A blister of flesh protrudes from the ground, an irritated, angry pustule. It is almost entirely opaque, but you see the faintest hints of movement within. Examine the cyst. Yes, let's get closer. You study the movement within the cyst more closely, as if in response to your curiosity. The shadow of a hand claws at the interior and vanishes. Someone or something is trapped inside the cyst. I am very concerned. Time to walk away. We saved the game. Let's touch it. You feel something pressing against your mind, a sharp presence like the thought of pain thrusting its experiences into your imagination. As your fingers brush the flesh of the cyst, the memories come pouring in, flooding your thoughts with emotions of lives you have never lived. Stories from countless lives lost in the bloom. You reach out for a random memory in this swirling maelstrom, and its particulars become immediately shockingly clear. Ah! Your head is throbbing, aching, feels like it's going to split wide open. You're trying to retreat from the battle for this region of the bloom, holding a tower of iron will against your scion foes, but they batter at it ceaselessly, and you can feel your defenses crumbling. If you strike back, you can save your allies, but you will open yourself to your enemies' minds. They batter at it ceaselessly, and you can feel your defenses crumbling. If you strike back, you can save your allies. Open your... Okay, got it. Okay, alright. You saw what they did to Alito. Every pore in his body started leaking blood. His screams are still haunting you. Drop your defenses and strike. Keep running. Her friends can fend for themselves. That's obviously what you need to do. Sure, let's strike at it. The moment your shields fall, they pounce on you, feeding you psychoses and traumas dredged up from your ancestral primitive past. They start to tear apart your concept of self, placing illusions of love lost and lives lived that are not your own. More additional layers on top of this layer we're already experiencing that's not ours. They whip you with empathy, and you can feel a backdoor attack on your psychomotor functions. The agony is exquisite. You use the pain and rage to lash out at the weakest mind, and you realize then that you are fighting a hive consciousness. You cannot defeat these creatures united as they are. Your only hope is to defend yourself or one of your squad mates, but only one of the 10 of you can survive the concerted attack of the hive. Defend yourself and run, or keep striking back. Maybe you can distract the hive. Sure, let's pretend like we're being noble. Well, we got indigo tide, but unfortunately gold tide along with it. You strike and you strike and you strike again. You channel your fear into a devastating blow aimed at the heart of the nest, but the energy vanishes. You think. Lines of control snake through your body, dominating you and painting new truths on your mind. Each silver-thin thread draws a universe of pain through your exposed nerves. As your mind slowly dies, your foes show you the bodies of your fallen comrades. Not one escaped. They died in agony. So do you. Well, that's good. You return to your own mind with the death of your host, knowing that what you saw, what you felt, was true. The life you lived was full, rich, and ended here in the bloom. Your host's remaining moments were saturated with pain. Your muscles still twitch with the memory of agony, and your suffering bleeds into the cyst, loosening its fleshy fibers. It appears that the bloom has sealed something within this cyst, and your agony is the key that will set it loose. Oh, great! Shall we have more pain? Is that what we're looking for? Sure! Let's have more pain. You steel yourself for another memory of pain and reach out to touch the cyst again. Again, the unbidden memories spring into your mind, and you lose yourself among them until you reach out and seize one. You gaze through the faint shimmer and ripple of the force field down the silent, red-veined tunnel into the pulsating black. It looks empty. You know it is now. You feel the eyes on you, the hungry eyes. But you feel no fear. You feel emptiness within you under a scab that you want to pick. Examine the emptiness! You remember her laughing face. You remember her closing her eyes, the tentacles of her hair writhing around the back of your head. Medusa? Pulling you in for a kiss. You remember her delighted laughter when you told her you'd found a lost settlement at the end of a quiet tunnel in the bloom. Untouched by scavengers, a fortune lying on shelves and in neat crates. You remember leading her by the hand. The pain rises. Your hand strokes the force field's controls. What happened? Keep digging through the memory. Turn away from the force field. Stop remembering! No, what happened? Keep digging through the memory! Delve deeper! More pain! You don't want to remember, you don't, but you go deeper anyway. You'd installed the shield to protect your find from other explorers. But when you fled the ruins and the shrieking things beneath it, it was the shield that saved you. You and not her. You saw them fall on her 10 steps from safety. Pale claws, blood-painted. Screams from beneath the seething pile. Blue Tide raised a small amount. Yay, blue pun. Blue Tide. Blue Tide raised a small amount. Good God. Okay, I figured out what's happening. It's because my brain is tired. So much blood, and she never stopped screaming. Finally, you raised the shield, and only then did silence fall. You look at your hand, hovering over the shield controls. For all you know, she could still be screaming down there in the ruins. And it's your fault. The life you were going to build together is gone, erased. You have just one more thing to do. Join her! Open the force field! Your hand slides across the control and you deactivate the screen. Silence follows. She is not still screaming. You feel a moment's relief. The countless nightmares lied to you after all. You take a single step into the dark, another, and then they swarm up the tunnel and fall on you, biting and clawing and chewing and shrieking. After endless agony, blackness claims you. Red Tide raised a tiny amount. More XP! Yeah, I see the idea here is to just aim for the pain. Consciousness calls you back to its arms, and you find yourself aching emotionally and physically from these experiences. Your muscles throb and pulse with the residue of the fight-or-flight response, and the cyst again responds to your pain. Its fibers loosen further. Touch the cyst again! You steel yourself for another memory of pain and reach out to touch the cyst again! Again, the unbidden memories spring into your mind and you lose yourself among them until you reach out and seize one. Please, you whisper, hands raised. Clean white dust, untouched by the taint of the bloom, cakes your slender fingers. I worked for years on this sculpture. I've molded it with beams and chisels and with my bare hands when my tools ran dry. This is the only thing in my life that has meaning. Something in the stone is calling to me. It needs to be given shape. Didn't we meet this guy? Up in the circus? Who knows? I know that, says the man who used to be your friend. Embrace the pain! Yes! Hi, Kurt Witch. Hi. I know that, says the man who used to be your friend. I've seen what it has done to you. He holds a large hammer in his hands. His fists are shaking. You've changed. Ever since you brought this hunk of rock back from that other world, you've changed. It's not art that it compels you. There's life already in that thing, and it's using you to get out. He hefts the hammer. I'm here to stop it. If my behavior is that changed, I'll step aside. You won't ruin my creation! Step aside. This is your last warning. I will destroy it. And if I have to go through you, I will. I'll protect this sculpture with my life. It is my creation! Red Tide, Silver Tide. As you wish. His hammer is faster than you would have believed, and it blasts the bones in your hand to powder. You fall back, the pain following, and he strikes at the statue directly. The first shot elicits a high-pitched shriek from the stone, and you throw yourself in front of the sculpture to keep another one from landing. Don't make me... He never finishes the sentence, but swings again. Don't make me... Don't make me do this thing I'm going to do anyway. Your shoulder collapses with a wet crunch. Yay. Red and Silver Tide. You embrace the statue, shielding it from the hammer. After a few blows, he focuses entirely instead on you, grunting and growling. Blood spatters the stone beside your cheek. At last, you topple bonelessly to the ground and watch as he reduces your masterpiece to a pile of rubble and splinters. You struggle to summon a single breath, a single sob. When the blackness comes, you welcome it. XP! You ache in your heart. The ache in your heart has become familiar, even... Yeah, tell me about it. Even as the sorrow and heartbreak seem new and fresh each time, different facets of the same emotion, each refracted through a new experience. The cyst's fibers twitch again, loosening one final time, revealing a frail, angular creature trapped inside. It bursts out of the cyst, leaving a glittering object behind in its haste to escape. Hmm? Ah! Oh, hey. That... Maybe releasing that thing wasn't the best, because I remember fighting something like that. I don't know. Now that the cyst has disgorged its prisoner, the husk looks hollow, deflated, defeated. Examine the remains! That's really all we wanted. We didn't care about the person inside. We just wanted a thing. We wanted stuff. Something catches your eye. It's a piece of sharp metal that protrudes from just underneath a fold of decaying bloom flesh. You cannot begin to guess at its function, but it's small and easy to carry. You slip it into your pouch. We got a mesmeric handle. You can't guess at its function, but now I'll tell you all about it. You found this object inside a ruptured bloom cyst. It is made of azure steel, azure, and resembles the hilt of a small knife, but the blade is missing. And specialized machinery lore tells us this device is inert because it lacks power, but its potential energies are great, tapped and conducted through strange dimensions. It would require an appropriate power source to reactivate the missing blade. Ah, it's a lightsaber. Sorry, laser sword. Copyright! Copyright! Okay. Yay, XP. Natural lore tells us the creature within the cyst was an abacos, a being that feeds on transdimensional energies. Assuming that it was in the cyst for any length of time, it must have been surviving by draining energy from the object you just found. A closer examination of the object should tell you more. Well, we did that. Examine the remains again! Now that you've claimed the object the creature left, the cavity is utterly empty. No, keep examining it just in case something should... No, it's fine. Leave the cyst alone. Okay. Well, we've got a thing that we need to attach to a power source. We have a thing that we need to attach to a power source so that we can then do terrible things with it. Wait a minute. A hilt without a blade. But Draken's find a mall that leads to the trade post. The trade post has been devoured by the bloom, so I can't get there from the vast interior. According to Gristler, a bloom guide, the trade post is probably still intact, but I'll have to find a way to reach it. My only recourse is to try opening various maws and hope that one of them leads to the trade post. Inside a fleshy cyst, I found a device that resembles a hilt. It seems to be technological in nature, so perhaps there is a way to reactivate the blade. I didn't realize this was a quest. If I examine the device that I found in the cyst, I might learn how it worked. Didn't we examine it already? Quest items. Didn't we just pick up a power source? So I'm going to save the game real quick. Yeah, we are growing weary. We are going to have to, we're going to have to go shortly anyway, but I will save the game, and then I'm going to try something. I don't know if this is going to do anything. Nope. Ah, okay. The device resembles the hilt of a weapon. It rests easily in your hand, but there is no blade. Inspect the device. There we go. The device is made of azure steel. It appears to be inert and has no obvious function. A stylized name is inscribed into the steel. Ioxu. We've met Ioxu. Behind a strong glass plate, you find a compartment that contains an old depleted power core. It's blackened and drained, so you toss it aside. You could place another power source inside the compartment, but it may require a particular type of energy. The trans-dimensional power source you found in the crashed Katina. That's what I was trying to do a minute ago. Looks like it would fit inside the compartment. Or maybe we should go to Ioxu before we try this. No, we will do this! We have the lore. But it requires fast fingers. We can get up to 100% if we spend that, so maybe we shall do that. However, let's just check something. Nope. Okay. Nope. And, nah, not too bad, but no. Alright. Let's do that then. 100% is pretty good. Success! You take out the cylinder that you found in the crashed Katina and try to slide it into the compartment on the hilt. Initially, it looks as though it won't quite fit, but you discover that if you press the cylinder gently against the opening, it gradually resizes itself and fits neatly inside. A small, fine blade of pure transdimensional energy sprouts from the hilt. You realize that this device is a scalpel. With a twist of the hand, the blade can quickly be switched on or off. Trans-dimensional scalpel. It does 4 trans-dimensional damage, plus 3 damage per effort applied, maximum plus 15. Light weapon bonus. On critical hits, wielder gains phased, converts all damage to trans-dimensional, and grants plus 30% evasion, plus 3 resistance, except trans-dimensional damage dealt to this character is plus 100%. Active 1 round. Interesting. I do wonder if we should ask Ioxu about it. Because Ioxu was the... Wait. Pocket the weapon. Just to be clear. Yeah, that's Ioxu down there. I mean, he's right down there. I could ask him. I'll go do that just before we call it a day. I will overwrite that because I got XP from that. Let's go back and say hi real quick. Also, just out of curiosity, it was completed, but they were still running when I went to the other screen. I found the name Ioxu inscribed to the surface of the hilt. There's a transdimensional power source. Found a power source. Crashed in the Katina vamp capital. The other remains of the soul. Okay, good. We already did all those things, but now I want to check with the Ioxu about this blade, this scalpel. The scalpel that bears your mark. I found a power source for it. His eyes bulge as his flat voice gains a tiny bit of modulation. The scalpel! Where did you find this? This was among the first devices I created to test the bloom, a transdimensional blade that could cut its flesh cleanly and preserve its properties for study. Yet a thief removed it from my care, an abacos that entered my dwelling and absconded. We have met an abacos before. That's what it was. It was called an abacos. I can't remember the context. I think it was in that tavern. I think it was disguised as something else. Or it was hiding. He looks at it with a critical eye. The technology is old, however. Improvements are possible beyond this stage. For the price of 190 shins, which price will cover cost of imported materials, the scalpel can become more effective, more dangerous. We'll think about that. Actually, is it going to give me that again? Okay, yes. All right. I mean, yes, let's make it more dangerous, is my first thought, but we'll see if we want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and save the game here. Assuming it allows me to. Good. And then we shall exit to the main menu. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much for watching. I need to get going, unfortunately, so I can't do this longer today. But it was fun getting getting that screen cleared out and figuring out more about things going on in the Bloom and sort of that big common area. Figuring out things we can poke and prod at, and finding the scalpel was fun. Just more things contributed to the mystery. More drama from the past, always coming up in this. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I am looking forward to exploring those other areas and then trying to figure out how to do the various things we need to do to get to seeing the Mamavra. A lot of quests to complete at this point. But as far as things happening here on this, let's see, either here on this channel or in different places, what am I doing? So actually tomorrow I'm going to be on a different channel. I'm going to be over on Weave the Tale in the land of tabletop gamery. Over on Weave the Tale, I'm going to be playing in the finale of our Fate of Cthulhu game, The Return of Carcosa, where we have traveled back in time to try to stop the King in Yellow. And this is the climax. We'll see what happens. So we have that happening. Then on this channel, back on this channel, on Sunday afternoons, whenever we're all available, we've been playing Dark Matter. That's the Mage Hand Press Dark Matter, not the Alternity Dark Matter. So fantasy stuff in space, and that if we play this Sunday, that may also be a finale, as we're getting we're fighting the big boss. So we got to see what happens. This is the final conflict for this story arc. So we shall see. We shall see how things go. It's a big psychic dragon. It's very scary. On Tuesday nights, again when we're available, because we haven't been able to play the last couple of weeks, but hopefully this Tuesday, I am running a campaign of Urban Shadows set in Rome, Italy. It's not a it's a short campaign, but we've had some delays, so it's stretched on for a little bit. We're about halfway through right now, and I'm very much looking forward to getting back to that. And that's most of it. On Wednesdays, by and large, more often than not, I've been playing Cities Skylines, and this I try to do on Fridays. So a week from today, we're going to try to get back to this and do more Bloom investigation, and perhaps upgrade the scalpel. We'll see. I haven't done anything with shins in the Bloom yet, because I'm trying to get a sense of where the stuff is to sell off and what to sell off and all that, so that I can have ridiculous sums of money available to do things. But we'll see. We'll see how everything goes. But I think that will be it for now. Thank you all very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. I'm going to go and fall over for a little bit, and then do evening related things. So take care, folks. Thank you all very much for watching. I will see you all of a sudden.